can't get used to serious haircut.
I know. I've got my hairdo out, my eyebrows, so you can see them.
Yeah, but he's got that t-shirt.
I've got the hat ready.
I still got a cat t-shirt on, but it's alright. It's definitely Kale. He's got Kale's face, but not at the top of his head.
Create a Kale.
Try it.
Welcome to the TheSixthAxis Pubcast. This is Pubcast number 4. What month is it supposed to be?
It's May.
It's May, yes.
I'm Dominic Layton. I'm the reviews editor for the Sixth Axis. And joining me tonight are...
Hello, I am Kale. I am a writer for the Sixth Axis. Sort of. Allegedly.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I'm a Scorpio, and I'm also a reviewer for TSA.
TSA.
Yeah, I thought I'd go with the acronym. Mainly because last time I think I called it the Silk Access or something
Acronym
like that.
that's an initialism.
Oh, is it?
Acronym is an actual lexeme.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
Really?
Oh, it's the pedant cast.
Sorry.
Well, apparently not then. Sorry, everyone.
You moved straight into his wheelhouse and set up shop.
I regret it. I thought that was safe ground.
No, never safe ground.
And unfortunately, it also is the Transport Standards Agency. And
Wow.
if you're in the US, so when we say that we're TSA, they look at you really weird.
That's a cross-promotion opportunity.
Who are you?
I don't remember anymore. Before that conversation started, I was cleanly shaven. I'm Steve, and I'm a reviewer for the Sixth Axis, not TSA.
Or the Sixth
obviously.
Access,
Yeah,
which
Axis.
is what Aid called it last time.
I think I called it the Silk Axine.
On the dark web.
The Sith.
The axis of evil, the dark intellectuals of the web.
Perhaps, as you can tell, the pubcast is done down the pub, and some beer may already have been drunk, particularly by Kale.
Sorry.
So, if there are any instances of bad language, again, mostly Kale, we do apologise, and perhaps you should close your ears and maybe go listen to something else.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to say at the start of a podcast.
Yeah. Just don't listen.
Don't listen. So here we are, and obviously in May, there's only really one thing that's probably worth talking about, because it's nearly E3. And
It's like gamers' Christmas.
it is like Christmas for gamers that's not at Christmas.
Yes.
Lots of expectation, all spoiled.
All
'cause
the
it's your parents
disappointment.
that did it.
Did my mum make Gears of War 5?
Well, you started it, so...
My facial hair is very different from Marcus Phoenix these days, I think.
these days.
It's very grizzled and bear-like these days.
So, anywho, we're going to talk about E3 and probably meander about the place, thinking about what we really want to see and discussing why on earth it's a good idea or perhaps not a good idea. So, let's talk about, I think, well, we might as well start with the leak, because this week has had one of the biggest leaks in gaming history, potentially.
Everyone got wet.
It was like St David's Day, to go for a not quite as horrible image.
Sorry, everyone.
And Walmart Canada ruined everything by posting loads of images of...
Literally blame Canada.
Placing loads of placeholder art for games that haven't been announced yet. So...
I mean, that's quite at the same time, that's quite normal for stores as well, isn't it? They sometimes do that for things that haven't been announced. How many of the things do we think are all actual leaks? I think probably most of them.
Yeah.
And was it even an accident or just a way of drumming
I think
up some
Rage 2
pre-orders?
ruined it. If they'd done anything else, we would have gone, it's just those leaks, or not even leaks, just placeholders that they've dreamt up, going, maybe it's a thing, we'll put it there as a placeholder. But no. It shows Rage 2, a thing that no one was expecting.
Well, there was also a leakable Nintendo title someone put up, which was undisclosed SKU 14397, which I, for one, am looking forward to.
Excellent.
Which is the way to do it, because there aren't enough SKUs in the gaming industry.
There's talk
as a
of
whole.
a newer Switch with potentially more RAM.
Yeah.
I remember reading about, which is
I mean,
annoying.
do we
but
think we'd see that this year?
I don't think so.
I think it'd be a big surprise. I mean, how long have, for all of their previous, we'll count it as a handheld, for all of their previous handhelds, how many years has it been before we've seen a revision?
DS was
get two,
DS
Not
to DS
one.
Lite was
Yeah.
not that long.
But the
so-
first
but that
DS
but
was
that
garbage.
Yeah, but they've got form. The GBA to GBA SP wasn't also that long.
Oh, no, you might
And to
be
be
right.
fair, does
So
the
actually, there's quite a lot of history. Not that you've now
Probably
strayed
should
into
have
my
researched
ballpark.
So perhaps we're going to see.
Maybe they'll just have it as an
The Switch
expansion
SP.
pack to come along with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze to go truly retro.
I mean, coming along with the cloud saves means people could buy a new one and then transfer their stuff over, I guess.
Yeah.
why does Switch need more
That's so
RAM when it's just
consumer-friendly.
Wii U conversions, right? It's going to be. You don't need any more power for that.
Maybe next year, because they'll have run out of Wii U games by then, because
Yeah.
there weren't enough of them.
If they do release a new one, I'll actually be pleased that the Mario Switch I got only had different Joy-Cons rather than a different screen as well.
I mean, that's
Actually,
I
interchangeable.
guess that's one thing. Is like it could just be a whole new a new screen unit bit, and that's all that you need to purchase, and you've got all your other stuff.
That's all. That's lovely. How kind. How consumer friendly that is. I mean, I love Nintendo games, but I'm not. All games in general. I'm not a fan of this iterative. Let's do a new version of this console. It was much better when you just was wait 5 years and get a completely new thing coming out. Whereas now it's always every year there seems to be something slightly shinier but not really different.
Yeah.
So it's midlife crisis. It's someone just trading their wife for a slightly younger version of the time.
Don't mind SQ. I mean, I know they often strip them down and reduce the price rather than increase them, which is so. I remember getting a new PS2 and going to play Link Up at Time Splitters and finding out it had no iLink port and like trying to put the cable in and going, "There's no." Ooh. What a shit day.
The scariest thing about that is I probably sold that to you in
Probably.
game in 2002.
Bastard.
I have never forgiven you. I never will.
Dream about that.
It's time to let it go. Let it go be free.
Whether they release a new SQ with more stuff, or whether that is an iterative, like pro version or something.
Yeah.
But then it's already still expensive for a Switch, right?
And it's
Yeah,
not.
sure.
I don't think the things that people want on the Switch aren't necessarily going to be improved in that way. I mean, yeah, Doom will maybe run a bit quicker, but I don't think people brought a Switch to play Doom.
No.
It's a nice thing you can do if you have a Switch. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the thing is as well, like, in terms of increasing power, we've only seen that once with the new 3DS, haven't we? So, in terms of an actual processing power upgrade for a Nintendo
I think PSP had one, but it was marginal. I think they had a newer model with a slightly increased processor speed at some point, but it was
right.
literally like 100.
Plus,
But-
PSP wasn't selling anything like the Switches.
Yeah,
Right
and,
now.
and that's
No.
the other thing. Like, do they need to do it? They probably don't need to do it because people are still
It's
still
hot cakes.
clamouring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even at
why
the
not just
inflated
keep going?
Nintendo prices.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nintendo.
So keep going for another year, and then
because that was
announce number 2, and then we'll all rebuy it again anyway.
and then all the same games. Although they are now linked to an account, so maybe you won't have to rebuy them. But the whole thing with the new 3DS, people were utterly confused by that. And there was Xenoblade Chronicles, which is an amazing game, and Binding of Isaac on the store, and some SNES games, and that was all that ever came out really that needed the new 3DS rather than the original one.
Sure.
So it was completely worthless as a whole thing. It's great if you then buy one after the event, but
Yeah.
people are upgraded with the prospect of lots of new games. Who's going to release games purely on the Switch with 2 eyes, or whatever they're called?
Switch.
Yeah, it's because there's already a really big installed user base of the other one, so
Yeah.
it just
No.
strikes me
Nothing
as
can
really
be
odd.
nothing can be exclusive to that. It would be the same as the newer consoles with iterative ones.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
That's not really what the
exclusive.
Switch is about. It's,
No, and it's not what Nintendo's about, and it's not what it's not their style to do that. I don't think. Okay, new 3DS, maybe they tested the water with that, and surely they can't have decided that was the way forward.
I think the history with the handheld has always been that the original, other than the Game Boy, the first version of most of the handhelds have been monumental fuck-ups. The original Game Boy Advance you couldn't see in any light. It was just
Battery
not.
on that lasted about 20 minutes.
And
You
the original
did more
DS
double A's.
just looked like something out of a 1970s futuristic sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And then when they
1999.
it really was. So whereas the Switch is
Yeah.
a
Switch
nice
is
thing.
adorable,
There's nothing
yeah.
there that there's no real edges that need smoothing out. To
The
need to
D-pad.
upgrade this.
But then they could just
Well.
release a Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, haven't Ori already done that?
yeah.
Somebody has. Although it's not supposed to be super clever. And it's got bits missing on it or something.
That's what's worrying.
Ideally, it'd be
It's
good if
missing
they just
plastic.
allowed access and use of any of the Wii U or even Wii peripherals. But I think they're redacting the Wii U currently, so
I mean,
whether we'll see that, I don't know.
I think the other thing that we may well get is Virtual Console.
They've
The online stuff's coming.
But they've recently just said again that it's not coming. So whether it is or they're just trying to push the remaster SNES game.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting your 20 NES games with your online thing this year. So presumably that means that the infrastructure's coming in there in some way. And now should be the time for that.
Will those be the same 20 NES games that have been released on the NES Mini
Probably.
and every other?
I think if the smaller consoles then killed some of the virtual console kind of market, or are they just going to not do away with the virtual console and re-release all of those games, like the N64 ones on the Switch, but then recharge people for them?
Well, they've
Of
got.
course they'll recharge them for them.
We've got the Wii U Virtual Console. It's the upcoming Switch lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as much as probably it's the same case for Microsoft, but Nintendo don't have. Currently, their lineup is pretty weak, really. I mean, they're still riding on this massive wave of excitement from the Switch. And there's nothing wrong with bringing all these Wii U games, because plain and simple, people haven't played them.
Yeah.
And some
because
people maybe don't
didn't
even
have
know.
Wii U.
You know,
No, I think
they
they will
just
have
see a
flipped
new
them by.
Switch game comes out and they go, "That's the new
Totally.
Switch
Like,
game."
how many people actually have played Hyrule Warriors? How many people have played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze?
I didn't raise my hand for either.
Waving
I
your
would
hand
like
works
to.
really well.
We need video
To be fair, I've bought both of those in the past 3 months.
for cheap on the Wii U.
So,
Dead consoles, that's the future. my friend.
so Nintendo need to come out swinging with games this time out as well.
Yeah, totally.
Because coming up into Christmas, there's very little on the horizon.
Well, we've
Surely
got
Animal Crossing is going to be
Animal
making an
Crossing,
appearance.
Metroid, Super Smash.
Yeah.
We're going to see. Yeah, we're going to see Metroid this year.
I think we might see a couple.
I
We're not going to see the.
think we're gonna see some of it.
Yeah, we're not going to see the game
See a
this year.
CGI
but
teaser.
I think we'll see something.
Who's working on it now? Is it still Retro Studios?
It's not. It's someone who is working on it.
Is it not Namco?
Isn't it not?
Because I freaking loved that series back in the day.
Bamco Nandai.
Bandai Namco.
Really good. Ooh.
I get emails from. I don't know what I've ever logged into that means I get emails from Bandai Namco.
This is.
I logged into
people
Resident Evil
researching as we
Ambassadors,
go.
but-
Our researchers are on it. Our little elves.
Go. Because all we know at the moment is that there's a number 4
Yes.
in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. It
That
could be
is-
just a number 4 has replaced Samus,
Yeah.
and you control his numeral.
Yeah, this new bounty hunter who is unfortunately in the shape of the number 4.
Has no
Bandai
opposable
Namco
thumbs.
are-
It is. You cannot
It is
interact
Bandai
with him.
Namco.
They're
Okay.
allegedly working on it. Yeah.
I don't know if that makes me
they
happy
are.
or not. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, that doesn't really tell us much, does it? We don't. I mean, it's
No,
a
because
publisher.
they've got so many teams and stuff that it could be anyone, couldn't it?
But just think of the
but-
potential to have a Samus Ball Pac-Man crossover.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, we still don't know what form Smash Brothers is coming in, so there could be something exciting about that. I don't know what that would be.
Never
Crossovers?
got. Never got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some more crossover stuff.
It'd be brilliant if it was just a Wii U conversion.
Bayonetta will be in there.
Yes, Bayonetta 3.
But wasn't Bayonetta in the Wii U one?
So I didn't play it, so maybe.
I think she has already been in Smash.
Shit the bed.
Yes, she was on the Wii U one. So.
I'm here for your schemes. Even our exclusive predictions are
Pretty bang on.
So, but Nintendo needs stuff, which really could be anything.
just Smash Bros. Having Cappy as a power-up, where you can take over your opponents and run them off. That would actually be pretty
Make
good.
them do that little dance
Yeah,
when you take over
but-
humanoids.
Other than that, I don't know.
I think my
I've
dream
never
of
quite
seeing-
got the whole joy of Smash. It's
Always felt to me like a bad fighting game. don't lynch me.
no, it was always fun for just the fan service of it, but I just never got on with it as a game.
It's got to be multiplayer when it comes alive. If you're not online or local play.
I'd
Yeah.
like some more racing games. Mario Kart's amazing, but that was also yet another of the re-releases, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it'd be amazing to see an F-Zero game, or an Excite bike or Excite truck. They talked about Wave Race.
F-Zero would be amazing if they. I mean, the stats
But
on
then,
that are so low.
I mean, like, who would make it? Because Sega made the last one. I mean, Sumo Digital are making, presumably, the new Sonic racing game. So, who would they have work on it?
It'd be nice if they had some sort of way of doing voice chat that didn't involve needing, Goro to hold all your stuff for you. Like,
I think we're not getting around that.
no,
Just use Discord.
yeah, feels a bit mid 2000s having to use Skype.
Ring people on your landline.
Because we've all got infinite 3 minutes. So.
Guess
Sorry,
it works.
I have to put down the Switch for a moment to use my round dial Bakelite phone.
So yeah, I can't. Do we have anything else for Nintendo? Do you think?
Sorry, I have to keep kicking it.
That's all right. Stop trying to touch me up under the table.
No.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo releasing don't try and touch me up simulator anytime soon.
Yeah, not soon. Although they do have a touchscreen.
I think Nintendo we've gone through all their big franchises there. It's going to be a sequel to one of them, isn't it? Well, not a sequel, but a reiteration.
Yeah. And we don't have a 2D Mario game yet. So maybe we'd see something of that.
Be one of the ones from the
new-
Wii U.
the
Be
new Super Mario
new Super Mario Brothers Wii U crossed out Switch.
Just crossed out. Nobody's played this before. They don't know what that.
What about
Louis Switch G.
Maybe someone will do a sexy new Advance Wars. Maybe Intelligent Systems will get on that for Switch. That'd be fun times.
Switch Wars.
Yeah,
They should do.
Great title.
Fire Emblem
Done.
I mean, Nintendo.
might come back as an actual.
Well, Fire Emblem is coming. Fire Emblem's been announced for
As
Switch.
actually, all right,
So you were good at this.
Because I knew Warriors. I don't know anyone who really enjoyed Warriors that much. Did you play it?
Yeah.
I reviewed it. I enjoyed it.
I was never very keen on the console versions
Warriors
of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, well,
though.
that's the thing,
They were
it was
never as
another
good as the
Warriors game.
handheld, so the Switch might cross that gap quite nicely.
I think there's something about both Advance Wars and Fire Emblem that just works as a handheld game.
Absolutely.
Where I don't know whether it's like the focus on it or just trying to take what is relatively a simplistic sort of setup and just putting it across your 50-inch telly. I don't know if something about it just doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, it loses that personal touch.
Although
Yeah.
the sliding scale is the worse the Fire Emblem game is, the more it will cost. Because the terrible Wii and GameCube ones are like hundreds of pounds now.
Yeah.
Man, I should never have
They're
traded
really-
that one
yeah,
in.
and it's-
Never.
But everyone who bought it when they first came out was like, this is not fun.
No.
And so got rid of it, which is probably why they're worth so much now. Whereas you can pick up the GBA ones relatively cheaply, and they're amazing games.
Yeah.
So, but we may well see actual footage of it. There's the Persona game as well, or something coming from Atlas.
Well, they announced more dancing ones as well, didn't they? But that's not for Nintendo necessarily. That might be.
Maybe they'll do a Switch version of that. Was it Trauma Center, that DS one where you did the surgery?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
No, that could be.
That would be. Yeah, you did the surgery.
No,
the surgery game.
Surgery simulator.
All I can think
Apart
of
from
is
there were like
surgery
aliens
simulator.
inside people's bodies, and you had to
Yeah.
zap them out and
was
stuff.
mainly-
Accidentally inject yourself.
It was mainly pulling bits of glass out of people.
Yes, and then you had to attach things back to
But
them.
just think, a Labo version could be like Operation in cardboard.
Oh,
Nice.
The Holby City crossover. Yeah, that's
Are we
nice.
going to see more Lambo? I think.
Well, I
or
presume
they're
we
going
will
to
be
just ride
seeing more.
ride through this year with what they.
yeah. Or will they just
done.
kind of lose interest with it? They'll kind of have that, not lose interest, but like they don't need to do anything else with it because that one
No.
version is just going to sell like crazy for ages.
Yeah, I mean, like the variety pack is going to keep going for a very, very long
Yeah,
time.
I mean, they almost didn't need to release the Robot one at the same time. They could almost have held that
No,
back
yeah, they could have.
and had that as like a
Definitely.
Christmas release.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they did release them both simultaneously.
Maybe slightly different audiences though for each
It
one.
is, but just thinking in terms of shelf space, you're devoting quite a lot if you're going to stock that in both of them.
No, you just flat pack it, don't you? Stick it back in your wardrobe. Job done.
I mean, in shops and stuff.
Oh, right.
In that sort of way, if you're appealing to that. Dom has one that he's reviewed. Do you break it down afterwards, or do you?
No, I've got a giant cardboard backpack.
Because how long did it take you to
at
make?
the
I
end of
heard
my
it takes like 8 hours or something.
No, so the robot kit is a serious piece of engineering. I think in the end it probably took me around 4 hours. And then there is a game to play with it. It's not the deepest thing in the world, but it's fun, and it's fun to look at all of the mechanics of how it works and all of that side of it as well. So whether it's entirely worth the 60 quid that is currently being charged for it, I don't know, but it's fun. It's very different, I think, as a family sort of building project.
Yeah, where did you have the most fun? Was it the building or is it the playing?
In the robot, definitely the building. The playing is okay. It's surprisingly responsive. Like the way that you've put it together and the way that it works is nothing short of incredible. But the actual game itself is basically Rampage in 3D,
Okay.
but with a robot running around
Do you think
instead
they'll
of
iterate on the
Godzilla.
packs? So more games or things to use with the existing cardboard constructions? Or?
I'd be surprised. I think we'll see maybe next year. I think another variety kit with multiple slightly smaller builds is potentially going to be what they go for, because that is for what you're getting. It's the cheaper pack, but there's way more to do in it, way more variety, and you can play in lots of different ways with them. So in a lot of ways, like the robot one's quite limited, and it's almost odd that that's the one that costs more. But I don't know. I think it's got about the same amount of cardboard in it overall. So it's odd that it costs more.
Yeah.
Well, that looks like the gamer's version, doesn't it? Whereas the other one's the
Yeah.
big kiddie family one. So maybe there's almost a premium on that. But
Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe they thought that gamers had more money to spend.
Well,
They probably do.
Okay, well that's Nintendo covered, I think. Let's move on to everybody's favourite games company, Microsoft.
Hey.
so is that games company?
Everybody's company.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, as much as Nintendo, they really need some games
I
this
think they
year.
might have a really big Windows 10 patch coming out.
Fuck's sake. I lost work a while ago. I had to change my updates for that. It's really
It's utter garbage. But besides the Windows 10 patch, part of the Walmart Canada. I'm just trying to run straight into the word Canada after Walmart Canada
Blame them.
leak. They included on their Gears 5. They included Forza Horizon 5, but you've got to assume they got that slightly wrong.
Wasn't like Forza Horizons 5 as well? They had the extra plural in there.
Maybe there are multiple ones.
Maybe they've just ordered 5 copies of it, that's all it is.
That's it. Because it's going to be on Game Pass, so they're barely going to sell any anyway. Is Halo on there? I don't think Halo is.
No.
I think everyone's expecting to see a Halo.
Halo's going to come
aren't
to
they?
PC in an official form, I think, because at the moment Halo 5 only really exists on PC in a sort of diminished form. And I think they recently stopped a fan project.
Yes, they did.
And I think that is more indication that they're probably going to bring Halo, like probably the Master Chief Collection, out to PC. I think that's
Sure.
probably what will happen.
What Halo are we on now?
There've been
Just that's
5,
5,
plus
so-
2 Halo Wars.
Yes. So either we're getting ODST 2, which I'll tell you what, ODST is my favourite Halo game. It is because like it's more about character, and also because you're not playing as Master Chief, you're playing as an ODST trooper. There's a genuine sense of danger. Like Master Chief can, on the whole, alright, not if you're playing on Legendary, but if you're playing on normal, you can wade through the entire game. And you can do that in ODST. And I really liked it. So maybe we'll get ODST too. That'd be exciting. And nobody'd be expecting it.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, I mean, Halo Battle Royale. I mean, when they have Microsoft have studios that are just doing these games, I think not expecting to see them at some point soon is. I mean, we will see them, so we'll see something.
Any other guesses?
I think I'd read somewhere that we'd see Nier Automata on Xbox One.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wonder. I mean, Phil Spencer says a lot of things, but he had recently been saying that he wants to get more of the Japanese games onto the console, so whether we'll see ports or new stuff. I think we'll see something.
Sequel to Vanquish.
That would be amazing.
That would be
I love
awesome.
Vanquish. Like, it's one of the most underrated games.
They finally ported it to PC.
It is on PC
and put it on
now,
backward compatible. So but then when that happened with Bayonetta, everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to bring out Bayonetta 3 on PC." And no, they're not.
My sweet summer children.
This takes us back to an earlier podcast, but Fable. Might be more details on that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
well, we'll see something. And maybe it's too soon after the cancellation of the last Fable game, or maybe it was just because of that game.
I think they're more desperate though than ever for something that is
They
going
are.
to connect.
I think they know
yeah.
that. I mean, the thing is, if you look around online, the amount of people writing that there's a lack of first-party games, and it's true. And you've even got lots of publications, and even like publications that aren't necessarily tied to games coming out and saying that Microsoft's got a lack of first-party compared to Nintendo and Sony. But I think they must have people constantly reading that, like the marketing team going, this is a thing. This is a thing that people are talking about. They must be working on it.
It's not like they've got a
think.
lack of money to be able to do it.
No, but I think
But it takes
cynically,
time.
the One X was so they could have the best third-party games, and that will make up a little bit for that dearth of stuff that they've got. But they can't just ride on that. They need other.
No, I mean, and the backwards compatibility stuff is incredible.
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, like Red Dead Redemption. Yeah,
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption, not Revolver. Red Dead Redemption in 4K looks amazing, and it's almost of a quality that you'd think it was a modern game. There are only a few things like it still has pop in, and obviously the character models are a bit tired.
Does it have a weird cougar lady still? My favourite ever game glitch where one of the NPCs behaves like a cougar but is actually
Cougar AI.
well, it's a cougar AI female, so maybe they're making some kind of pop culture reference there, but that's just amazing. It's digging in the ground and running away.
I haven't encountered the cougar lady.
Yeah.
I assume she's still in there.
And I think those initiatives and Game Pass as well are all really brilliant, but they still need new. I mean, some people, there is still a huge, probably quite a significant portion of their audience that don't give a shit about old games. Then the backwards compatibility doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, Sony have taken their first-party exclusives up a massive notch over the
Yeah.
last year. The stuff they've been doing is
putting
blown a
out
lot of
quite
stuff
a
out
lot
the water.
as well. It's not just 1 or 2 releases a year for Sony's first party anymore. It's now it's 4 at least. And
There's lots of first parties, also lots of third party exclusives, like the
From Japan.
Yakuza, etc. that are coming in and really, a game people want to play. Whereas I don't know if it's part of the whole kind of thing that once playing on the Xbox became like the colloquial way to say gaming. Now, are they still riding on people buying it for FIFA, Call of Duty, Gears of War, maybe, and Halo? But not even that, just like the big EA, Ubisoft major titles. They don't actually need all those titles to get people to sell them machines. But as a gamer's point of view, there's just not a lot.
No.
Even on the leak, there's nothing surprising there.
No, absolutely. I mean, another Forza Horizon game will almost certainly be mechanically amazing, but even 3 was beginning to wear thin a bit.
will they bring a car out on stage this time though? And we can go, so that's a car, that. That. There's a car.
And then Banjo and Kazoo would get out of the car and we'd be like, wow, all is forgiven.
Nuts and bolts
Yes,
too.
that would be amazing, actually. Yeah. Fuck, please do that, Microsoft.
Maybe we'll get some kind of massive Sea of Thieves expansion.
Got some content.
I think they'll show off, various new content stages.
Well, Sea of
Whether it'll be enough.
Thieves is No Man's Sky Mark II, isn't it? Where the original the game that comes out isn't what people wanted. Seems really slight in content.
But-
And then,
No, Sea of Thieves works much better than No Man's Sky
but the
did.
main
I think
arguments are
Sea of
there's
Thieves
not enough
have
in
less
it.
content than No Man's Sky did.
Yeah. So it's about, whereas there's potential for it to become much better as it goes on.
I think in a year's time, people will probably love the game a lot more.
'Cause
I
now-
went back to No Man's Sky. And
Yeah, now No Man's Sky you can pick up for a tenner. Actually, apparently, I haven't got around to it yet. Is okay. It's a
Brilliant.
decent game. It's got lots of really good stuff in
There's
it.
a good gameplay loop there. The building is nice, even if quite limited, but it's still quite. And the farming, if you want money, and then there's getting freighters and other ships. Yeah, the loop is expanded, but a lot of the base stuff is still kind of limited. But even that is meant to have a new update this summer, and I'm kind of looking forward to see what that is.
It's almost like there's no real benefit to early adopting a lot of these games now, because whether it's Game of the Year or patches or DLC, it's like the big excitement from these E3 style companies like, I want to play that game now, and actually I really want to play that game when they fix it.
Yes.
I mean, you're almost better off waiting 12, 24 months. And these games will be maybe still not even finished. I mean, like when did No Man's Sky release?
It was end of August, 2016.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it is,
Middle
we
of
are
August,
at a stupid point where these things are just going to get better much further on down the line.
You either have to get in early if it's a multiplayer game when the player base is there, or you get into a game because you don't want to play it before the spoilers hit.
Yeah.
But you're not really playing the game because you want to play the game. You're just playing the game because you want to see the ending before someone tells you what it is. And that's quite a depressing way of playing a game, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I rushed through God of War and finished it by the 22nd
Wow.
April for that reason. Yeah. And my phone still had a go at spoiling it for me. YouTube just popped up a quick video with a big spoiler for a thing, and like, fuck off.
Yeah, on the day of launch, it came up on when my kids were searching for some popular.
Kids.
Kids, I know. But because it comes as a God of War end boss fight. It's like, why would you put that up on the day it's released? It's
Yeah.
like,
Did he search for boy?
Oh, yes.
yeah, they were looking for Grand Theft Auto.
Things to play at Christmas.
Well, considering my kids share my YouTube channel so I can see what they watch, it generally will be a mixture of extreme black metal videos, Jim Sterling.
I'm so glad
Or-
Extreme you didn't take it.
Which one of the children's?
and then random kids pop. Lots
Oh.
of Katy Perry. Oh, God.
So they watched Jim Sterling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun for all the family.
Yeah. I like Jim.
So that's vaguely Microsoft.
I don't know if it was. I think we
what-
talked about other stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry,
'cause-
Microsoft.
I mean,
About as clear as
is the Ori and the
Yeah,
Blind
this
Forest
is- yeah,
sequel?
this is a
That's
new
Microsoft
Yeah.
exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, the first one's an amazing game.
Yeah. So
Because they're talking about Splinter Cell coming back, aren't they?
Yes.
And back in the day, I'm right in saying that was an Xbox exclusive, wasn't it? Or at least for a certain
It was
period of
originally.
time.
Yeah, the first one was, I think, and then I think 3 was definitely multi-platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, they were tied to Microsoft.
It was definitely, it was
marketing.
always felt like a Microsoft franchise.
Yeah, it was green, wasn't it? Green
Yeah.
themes, and then the marketing tied it to it.
And black and green, because he wore a black ninja suit and the little green goggles.
Yeah.
Because
With his three
original
eyes.
Xbox had Splinter
Third
Cell,
eye.
Ghost Recon, Halo. It was the shooter, or the
Yeah.
sneaky shooter. And
So you
then-
never know. The new Splinter Cell, that might come with a
I think there will be.
Microsoft focus.
I think the last one was
Might need a
hot
bigger
shite
install
though,
base.
so we'll see. Was it the last one or the one before that was just like press a button to kill everyone?
Isn't that
Yeah.
all games? Really,
Well-
if you boil it down philosophically, it's fine.
I mean, it's more than one button, but
But Sam,
you know.
Sam Fisher reappeared for a special guest appearance in Ghost Recon Wildlands, didn't he? So,
Yeah, wasn't he talking about Solid Snake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
He's-
pretty sure he
he's
starts
gone,
talking
he's
about
quit.
like the other guy that's retired and yeah.
not Raiden.
No one talks about Raiden. Come on.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid Revengeance too. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nanomachines.
Yeah.
With Raiden from
Only if
Mortal
it's a
Kombat
gambling
in.
machine where we see more Metal Gear Solids. So.
God.
Well, you can now buy Metal Gear Survive for about the price of a pint.
Yeah, I'd
Who
rather
would
get
have thought that would happen so
rather get a
quickly?
pint. What a
So-
waste of a good engine.
Let's move on to the real people's favourite company, Sony.
Right? I mean, like, Google still says we're a Sony site. I don't encourage
It
the
still
algorithms.
says all the PlayStation
But
games.
we're working on that. it's harder than you
Fucking
think.
hell.
So they're already knocking it out of the park. I guess we know some stuff that's going to be coming.
Ghost of
Tsushima?
Yes, Ghost of Tsushima, which does look absolutely amazing in the brief thing that
Yeah,
we've seen about
but
it.
it looks like it's potentially really good. But
I think I've
we haven't
caught-
seen enough to really know much
No,
more than.
but I think I'd like something in that style. Something I've quite wanted for a while. I mean, like typically games set in like feudal or Edo Japan, they're usually either ninja or something similar. Whereas this one at least looks like a nice world to like wander through the rice fields and
Spiritual
little
successor to
villages.
Onimusha and Gonji.
Yeah, but I mean, even Onimusha, like again, is like a lot of them are always action or horror,
Yeah.
or like, sort of something similar in that genre or stealth.
The Way of the Samurai series is worth playing. They are janky as hell. But they are really interesting games.
Well, there was the Yakuza Edo period games that didn't ever make it to this.
I wonder
part of
why.
the world. But they always look nice. But my Japanese reading ability is like pretty shit.
Oh, that's
So you're there with like Google Translate going, what does it say? Oh, eat. Cool.
the equivalent would be Grand Theft Auto Anglo-Saxon or something.
Can't read.
Now
want that to
there's the
That'd be
unexpected
really
game of the
good.
year.
Oh my god.
That'd be the game Kingdom
hell,
Come
Steve.
wanted to
Can
be
we have-
without the
yeah.
racism, wouldn't it?
Oh my god. Yeah. Why don't we make that?
Because we talk about games.
Aww. draw it.
Yeah, I suppose we're going to see yet more Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, this is like because I think they've changed their tack a little bit. Because they said they're showing Spider-Man, but previously they haven't shown games that were released soon after E3, which I always thought was a bit of a kind of something they were sitting on, where instead of kind of going, "Hey, this is out really soon," I think they might do that for Spider-Man. And fair enough, it looks really good.
They normally do a here's a game and it's just come out. We had Entwined, was it 2 years ago where they did that?
Was that when that came out?
Might be 3 years ago.
Might be 3.
I think
I
it
don't
was,
know.
yeah.
They
A while
blend.
back there.
So, and that's kind of fun.
I think we'll see Days Gone again, even though it's probably been at about 3 different E3s now, but maybe 2.
Yeah.
But I think we'll see it again.
Thing is,
So the big-
Days Gone, they'll have to really carefully do that in a way that doesn't get shat on by Last of Us 2.
This is true.
Because even though they're not the same, they're similar enough. That I think
If they showed maybe the bike stuff, like 'cause you have a motorbike that you customise and do things. I think 'cause they've had a big media blowout recently for it. I wonder whether they'll show it again. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm raising my eyebrows.
Yes, he is. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Good eyebrow action.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
I know.
It's just what the...
I know the listeners were missing out, so I wanted to share.
You are actually missing out.
This is when we tell you that we're going to start recording this live with cameras and things.
Everyone have a shave.
No.
Yeah, to be honest, other than that, I mean, maybe we're going to see some Shenmue 3.
Maybe some Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Yeah,
I
because
wonder.
that's on that Walmart list as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, they'd already said that they were probably splitting it into 3,
Yes,
which
they did.
already makes it. I mean, it looked terrible beforehand, but I already
Which one?
think
Final Fantasy?
the 7 remake.
7 doesn't even
do you
divide
want-
by 3.
Do you want to?
Who's
do
doing
you
this?
want
Peter
to play-
Jackson?
I mean, do you want to play Final Fantasy 7 episodically?
In 3 discs, so
Oh, this is
so
yeah.
by each disc.
Although, really,
And that's if they hadn't said that, I would have probably carried on being a bit hyped for it, even though the combat looks awful. Well, unless you like shit combat.
are they making the combat Final Fantasy 15 style?
Yes,
Yeah.
which I can't stand about 15. So it's just a bad action game. Sorry.
For those who can't see, Kale just made the "come at me, bro."
Did. Can't get over it. I don't know. It looks flashy without substance. But yeah, splitting it into 3, I just can't see why that would be good. So,
We're going to probably see more Dreams,
hopefully.
which still probably requires further explanation.
Yes. Although the thing is, I mean, if you want it, it's there. The amount of dev diaries they've done that are really quite informative on all the building tools and things. I think if people want to have a look and find out how you do it and what it does, it's there. But yes, on a stage presence, whether it has the same sort of...
Yeah.
It's hard to do those kind of games on a stage, I think, without doing a gameplay sort of... I don't know.
You can't just put a car on stage.
No. I mean, that is a car.
You'll have a car. I'm really hoping, because there's talk about Capcom and Devil May Cry, isn't there, coming back? Not a PlayStation exclusive, but I'm really hoping it's a follow-up to the remake by Ninja Theory, and just to see what happens online. I think that'd be brilliant.
Twitter will break.
Yeah.
Emo
Yeah.
Dante, yeah.
Emo Dante,
Yeah.
back with the short black hair.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
It's back.
Or even better, just go for the full and make it a girl this time. Just think. That's what you want.
There you go.
You just want one of the major shows to basically be about baiting the worst hits of humanity. 'Cause
Let's see what happens. that could be the game.
To be honest, you don't have to try that hard, do you? Really, it's
No.
like-
I mean, maybe we'll see actual Last of Us 2 gameplay.
We will. I'm sure we will see that this year.
yeah.
Because it can't be too far away now, can it? So
A surprise would be nice. The thing is, I'd like, so Bluepoint are making something else. And if it's not Demon's Souls remastered, it needs to be Warhawk remastered. Would be really nice.
Maybe they'll throw out a new siphon filter. That's been dead for
Has been
years, hasn't
yeah.
it? Wasn't there some talk about that or some rumours or something?
Has there ever been any rumours about a siphon filter?
Yeah.
I want Patapon 4.
Oh.
That I'd be very excited for Patapon 4. Although they haven't remastered 2 and 3 yet, so it's probably a few more years of
Yeah.
remastering before we get there.
Let's do it all at once. Sort of-
Or you get it all
Throw
on,
it out.
all together.
And there's still a medieval game kicking around,
Yes,
isn't there?
medieval remasters coming.
I wonder if they'll do their weird All-Stars, the version of Smash that they
yeah,
did.
PlayStation
All-Stars Battle
All-Stars.
Royal, was it? PlayStation
Yeah.
All-Stars?
Yeah.
That was weird, wasn't
okay.
it? It was
It was
alright.
okay.
It was like a knockoff Smash Brothers, but
Yeah.
better than you would expect. I
It was
remember.
better than I
playing.
expected it to be.
Yeah.
I expected it to be really rubbish.
It just didn't really stick around much online to
No.
last.
What about another entry in the Warhawk series?
That's, I mean, yeah, if they remastered Warhawk, is what I wondered whether Bluepoint might do.
No, that would work.
Which would be really nice.
Yeah.
Because Starhawk didn't do well, did it?
It didn't. I really enjoyed Star.
I really enjoyed
I thought
Starhawk.
it was good. No, nobody else did though.
just playing together.
Which is great. Which was playing online about 2 months after it came out was like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, there's 3 other people here.
Whereas Warhawk stayed strong for a while, I think that would have more of the goodwill for remastering.
Yeah.
It's what I would really like. Yeah.
The whole online environment has gone so much. Fortnite, PUBG, etc. It's
Sure,
just
but
like,
I think Warhawk probably fit into that, like kind of it was drop in big battles with lots of people and like really easy to pick up and play as well.
Plus, you got to offer
so
something different.
what
if everyone does the
Warframe's
same.
offering to a
Boring.
certain extent. Then.
Yeah, but I mean it'd probably not be free to play.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it would be. But it still offered that kind of same like sort of feel that you get for those games where you literally, I mean obviously there's a huge skill ceiling for building and things in Fortnite. You can just jump in and go, oh shit, and shoot people, which is nice. And then get killed quickly.
We
See
also
really good
need
building.
Croc or Gex to come back. We've had Crash and Spyro. So how
Nobody
much
needs that.
No.
how much lower can we dig in the?
So
Hopefully
even-
not very much lower.
even
I mean,
Bubsy.
we're already Blinks is coming back apparently.
Oh,
isn't it?
the time sweeper.
Awful.
Oh, that was one of the worst
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
what about hardware? Sony hardware.
I don't think,
PlayStation 5.
I think they announced.
Is that this year?
I'm sure I saw something where they said, well, there'll be no hardware announcements at E3 this year.
Okay.
Maybe just to quell that.
That means there will be.
Yeah,
obviously.
maybe they will. I think at some point we'll probably see an iterated version of VR. See a VR version.
But we're
3.
already on. Yeah, well, this is it. We've already had version 2. Although that immediately fixed something that shouldn't have been wrong with it in the first place with the HDR pass through. So yeah, I mean, I think it's that we're not going to see a new PSVR this year. That'd be crazy.
I don't know.
How about the Vita too?
I think they'll leave handhelds a while. I don't blame them. Vita's amazing, but it's just been.
I love my Vita, but
Unless it's something that's PS4 powered, and they go,
It's a
you know
mini
that Switch
PS4.
thing, we've made a mini PS4.
Yeah,
and
can you imagine how
play
hot that would get?
all of your
Jesus.
games.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the fans going on it on the bus?
Louder than the bus.
it would power the bus. Oh, there's got to be a custom. Someone would have done a custom mod of that in some way.
Sure.
And then you could
It
use
just
your
outputs
Labo
it.
backpack just to hold the generator.
Yeah, that's what it needs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what surprises I'm expecting. Really, maybe not any. Maybe
I
it's good to expect nothing.
I'd love to see a Western release for the Phantasy Star Online game. That would be very cool, and maybe given the success of Monster Hunter, maybe there's more chance that Sega would bring it over, and it would make sense to be a PlayStation exclusive as well. So that would be very cool. Everybody's thinking.
We are thinking places. I mean, who else? I'm expecting Rocksteady's next game, E3 this year. This is what I am expecting.
Sure. Which could be what?
Superman.
Rocksteady are not making a
They
Superman.
might be.
Look at it. He came wearing a Superman hoodie.
Yeah. That is for Rocksteady. Again, they can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
A Superman game's going to suck.
Unless everyone, right, has Krypton gear.
But then
Yeah.
it makes it man.
Yeah, story of one man against
It's Battle Royale.
danger.
It's like the anti-infamous. It's a guy walking around Superman as a walking
Moderately
simulator.
well-powered man can do 10 push-ups, man. Wow, he's so strong.
To be fair,
It would just be Batman, but in a Superman costume.
adequate man.
Yeah, rebrand.
Batman about the resources.
It's the man.
Depression.
Yeah. Ah.
Isn't he there already?
Might as well just release Bergerac, the game.
Oh my God! Yes, that'd be outstanding. Yeah, I don't know about that. I prefer them to do Green Lantern personally, and then you create all the different things using a power ring. As long as they're green, you can make them. They're yellow though.
See, I quite like Green Lantern in the comics. I have owned a number of Green Lantern comics.
Yeah, Blackest Night. That was cool.
But
Green Lantern is one of the most fun characters in the Lego DC games. And that's probably about where he should stay.
Wow. Where's the Hal Love?
I just don't see how it's going to translate well. Either
I don't know.
Superman or Green Lantern. Okay, so if we think they're going to stick within their wheelhouse of the DC universe, I mean,
I think Warner Brothers are probably keeping him on DC.
Wasn't there some talk that Rocksteady were going to do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something?
I think
now
that
that could work
Yeah.
because that's
And you
the
have like
same
four
company,
people
isn't it?
playing co-op the whole time. That would be
But,
pretty cool.
but then
They've been in Injustice
Platinum
2.
did that. They're one of that, and it sank completely without trace.
Yeah, but I think that was very much
One of their
Platinum
throwaway-
at
It was, but I don't see that a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game
Who even has the
in
license for it? Is it
2018 is
Activision or is it?
going to happen.
Is it Warner Brothers?
don't
No,
know.
it's Warner Brothers because they put
Okay.
them in Injustice 2.
Yeah.
So
And don't they own the film license? Isn't that the last two Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films? Wasn't that
I
Warner
have
Brothers?
not watched them.
I think.
They looked bad.
I don't know.
They looked like they'd hurt my childhood.
Yeah, they would.
Michael Bay, weren't they? He produced
Rip
it.
its head off.
So, yeah.
Megan Fox was in it though.
All you need to know about those films, you can work out from the opening scene of Megan Fox being a investigative reporter by
Yes.
dressing as a schoolgirl.
Yes,
of it
and
just
showing
hit your
off her
face on the
stomach, I
table.
believe.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's all you need to know.
Is that as far as you managed?
That's all you need to watch.
Suddenly felt very sleepy after that.
I lasted a bit longer than that, if I'm being honest.
You haven't been drinking that night.
Anyway,
Are we going to have anything big on the whole loot box scandal? Or are EA going to get up and say, okay, Belgium, you got us?
Yeah, Belgium, we're just not releasing games in your country anymore. Sorry.
Stick that up your waffly ass.
yeah, EA's thing is going to be interesting because they've really got to do some good work this year, I think. I mean, they've got there's Anthem.
What other footballer can they get on stage?
That is all they've got, isn't it? Their upcoming games, other than the yearly
Well,
sports.
and there's the other Star Wars game, isn't there, as well?
Yeah.
The one that's been lurking around that Amy Hennig was working on.
Yeah.
There's another one of them was cancelled. Is that not the Vesrall game? Was that cancelled?
The last I heard that one was
go?
that one had died.
Yeah, I can't keep track anymore because they're just like thundercunts, aren't they? Who gave them?
Now, that is an excellent use of words.
Who did EA do that Mirror's Edge? There's
they
EA.
I think the problem is though that like every time EA tries something unique, it doesn't quite work and it doesn't sell. So they just go back to the wheelhouse of same old, same old.
Well, both EA and Ubisoft have tried the doing the slightly lower grade indie stuff because EA published FIFA,
Yeah, and they did
which is really nice,
Way Out,
really
wasn't it?
different. Ubisoft did that a while ago with the Valiant Hearts and Child of Light, but then they seem to have gone away from that, and they're just focusing on the same big franchises to the point where things like E3 is like, we know what you're going to do because it's the same big titles all the time.
I don't know though, because last year we got Mario plus Rabbids, which is legitimately an amazingly fun game.
Ubisoft aren't quite as bad as EA yet on that front, but EA in particular, I don't know what they just need to stand up on stage and just say sorry
Sorry for being evil. Sorry.
But then, I mean, EA, we've had stuff
Are we
like
the baddies?
We've had stuff like Tangled. That was really good.
But that was a while ago, wasn't it? Tangled.
Might be 2 years now.
Yeah.
And obviously, like stuff like EA Access, which obviously you don't get if you're on a PlayStation, but
No access.
no access.
No, we just have games. But on the 360, sorry, on the Xbox One or 11, you've now got Game Pass and EA Access. So really, it makes the Xbox One almost like a Netflix machine where you don't actually buy games.
Something that
You're
Microsoft
just
have
paying,
been wanting for a while.
You're paying subscriptions to. Right?
Which there's definitely a market for that. There is.
Renting, but without needing the stuff.
And there's people who don't care about going out and buying stuff on day one, and they don't care about the exclusives that come into place.
I think that's good for anyone's anxiety, though. You know, like, do you ever scroll through Netflix and just spend minutes and minutes scrolling, not knowing what to watch?
Every time I use Netflix.
Yeah, because you think it, or just Netflix, or like Amazon Prime, and you think, I've got to commit 2 hours of my life. What do I choose? I don't want to make the wrong choice. Do you imagine that amplified with video games? 50-hour video games. You go, what do I pick? I'm like,
I always just pick the worst looking horror film that I can find, and then that's my Netflix justified.
wow.
So.
It's always that thing that you're looking. I quite like that, but there could be something better.
Yeah, and then you spend the whole time looking for something better and you never find it. And you go back to what you watched.
Cowboy Bebop.
And then you settle down and you just settle for what you get.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you buy an Xbox.
Also, we're going to get Skull and Bones, you guessed, from Ubisoft.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to
That's
that.
going to be
Skull and
coming.
Bones.
Ubi,
I like
what
pirates.
else do Ubi have?
There's an
Dance.
Assassin's Creed Dynasty, maybe based on the American TV show.
That'd be good,
No one knows.
Joan Collins
Wow.
jumping in.
Texas oil. We got it all.
Who could it know?
Well, that was Dallas, but
Same difference.
Similar ballpark, yeah.
They just
had the
merged them
Ewings.
together.
Give me another pint.
Far Cry, Home and Away.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And everyone's arguing, aren't they? Is it going to be in Japan? Some people are saying. Is it going to be set in ancient Greece? I don't know who these people are, but some people are saying it.
I've heard Greece.
Yeah. Maybe a greased up Japan.
Musical or
Although
no?
it's
That would
hard.
be amazing.
I think it's hard to look cool whilst climbing a large column, though.
It is hard.
Well, even
can't
Kratos could
define.
manage that back in the original God of War. Flashbacks to that moment. But then that's the thing, if they go Greece,
Yeah.
then there is the problem that you're kind of moving on to Kratos' territory.
Ooh, maybe he could turn up as a
Well,
bonus character.
It was more just that's been, unless, because Do we really want to go around like an authentic historical Greece? It's just like philosopher dudes hiding in barrels.
Depends when
that's
you,
not really.
Yeah, it depends when you set it, really, doesn't
And
it?
if you've got a special
If you
mission
have,
where
like, Sparta,
Empedocles
Athens.
throws himself into a volcano when he's done everything he wants to do in his life, that could cope with it.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the Romans to turn
It's
up.
my favourite pre-Socratic
And
philosopher.
do you think Assassin's Creed might go back to the annual release after Origins? Will we see one
This year.
like
I
well,
think
like
so.
you know, like
I think the
whatever time it
million
came out?
teams that they have
I can't
working on
remember.
Assassin's Creed must catch up.
It was October, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I mean, Origins has obviously done really well for them and kind of renewed people's interest a bit in the series.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like...
Unity and Syndicate.
Still got
kinda
all the
kicked off,
future
didn't it?
bullshit, and once that goes, I'll get back into it.
But then
until then,
Black-
It's very minimal in
We've got the
Origins.
same kind of
It's
pattern
very-
going because Black Flag renewed people's interest and then they pulled out
Yeah.
the Syndicate and Unity stuff that came out pretty much unfinished with all the issues they had at first. So there is, because of the way the lead-in for trying to get games out as quickly as they do now, even if a really good one comes out in a series, that doesn't necessarily affect the next ones coming out because they're so far into development they might be utter ass. So it could work. But I don't know, I'm not sure. Assassin's Creed Guildford.
Assassin's Creed Slough.
Grimsby.
Oh, Lancaster, there could be a whole mission in the Three Mariners.
Obviously, there's Division 2 that was on the Walmart list.
I'm
Very
divided on
divisive.
that one. Hiya!
Oh, God.
Sauce.
I didn't play the first edition.
Nor did I. It looked pretty rubbish.
So,
They should just call it the second division. And then slowly down to get to
Football joke.
Vauxhall Conference and then just go for it.
nice. We'll be there in a few years. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Beyond Good and Evil 1.
I love that game.
I don't know what they're doing. It might turn out to be really good, but it just seems to be no relationship to the first one whatsoever.
It would
the
need
point
to be
where
utterly
I don't even know
reinvented,
why
though.
it's got that name.
This is one of the things.
Because it's got a
that
giant
it's
pig
like,
in it.
Well,
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just call it a different name? Like,
But maybe it started off with being...
Within Good and
Well,
Evil.
closer
the very
and
early
it's
images
just-
were much closer than they are now, and it's certainly
Yeah.
moved away.
in that very early CGI trailer that they did, just to tease it, was pretty beyond good and evil. But
I love the bits of the first one where you are just looking around, taking photos. You know, I don't. So far, this all seems to be very flyy, shooty.
It's strange as well
Yeah.
because it must limit their audience because there's a lot of people who will know what Beyond Good and Evil is, but there's got to be even more who have never heard of it
Yeah.
and have
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
idea what it is. And just having a number 2 on the side is going to put them off.
Well, yeah, because my normal reaction, if there's a film or a game of number 2 or whatever, is I want to at least know the first one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Usually, I end up buying the first one and the second one. End up playing neither for so long that it's
And
not
then get
worth
something
anymore.
else.
Yeah, but you do want to do that to a certain extent, and
You
yet
don't want to feel
here,
like you're missing out if you haven't played the original.
it just seems like a weird use of the name.
Shall we have a brief beer break?
Yes. Oh, that was terrifying.
Okay, we've got about 15 minutes.
shit, not bad. What have we not talked about?
Well, not...
Everything.
We've probably hit an hour already anyway.
Right. So if you finish God of War,
Have I, Alice?
Bloody hell.
I've got...
you said I could
been
borrow it.
reviewing
That's the only
rubbish
that's the only
games.
reason I came along today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I haven't got a
Cheers.
fucking clue what's going on Cultist Simulator. It's, like,
Oh, really?
it's really good.
You think?
No, it's a card game, but it's a
Okay.
card game where everything you play has a timer. So it's
Right.
a real time, but you've got to keep on pausing it because otherwise you just die. But it's really full on.
Card games
Right.
confuse the
It's
hell
got,
out of me.
but playing it on the laptop, everything was so small. First time I played, I literally didn't know I could pause. just died of starvation. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's really interesting.
Kill.
And Fox and Forest is good,
Yeah.
but it's too short.
Okay.
And it's yeah, it doesn't. It starts off really well, and then
Right.
doesn't quite follow through on it. When
Right.
to the point where you have a couple of really annoying flying levels, where the collision detection is very 16-bit,
Okay.
and then one of the bosses is you climbing a tower, and you get to the top and the boss dies. You don't actually fight it. It's just climbing a tower as quickly as you can. It's
Okay.
like, all right, okay. So, yeah, but yeah, it's fun. And you unlock a special scene at the end where the fox can marry the partridge. So why the hell not?
Whoa!
Or you can also, you go on the screen and the partridge is sat on a seesaw, because it's that kind of game. And you
Right,
can even
okay.
choose to marry them, everyone goes, hey! Or you can choose not to, where you jump on and catapult them off the screen. Which is what you do when you finish every level. You just jump onto a seesaw and catapult a partridge off the side of the screen.
Right.
And it's like,
Sounds fun.
yeah, why are we doing this?
I mean, what else are they?
Just think someone spent weeks programming that.
There's a fact there's a bonus thing there. And it just then says marriage. And you think,
That's
oh,
on
is that
someone's
like funny?
LinkedIn.
And it is just like 20
Partridge
seconds.
designer.
worth.
Should we go back to
It'll be good on Switch.
E3?
Yes.
What about Bethesda? What could possibly be coming?
Doom 2.
Something about twos.
Maybe threes.
Prey 2. Prey 2 Furious.
Yeah, something.
There's Prey single
Oblivion
player stuff coming out, isn't
2.
there?
No,
DLC
that
and
wasn't
stuff,
it.
apparently.
Right.
I don't have heard anything about Dishonored.
Oh, you're right. You
Yes,
seem a little
that's it.
angry.
No, I'm alright.
Furious, perhaps.
Oh, well, there's something in there.
Almost in a rage.
Oh, you did it.
You did it.
You invoked it.
Rage 2's coming, isn't it?
Yay.
Yeah.
Did
Yes.
anybody play Rage?
No.
I didn't.
It was like
I-
all right, wasn't it? I heard.
It was
Apparently, I
supposed
heard
to
it was
be.
very alright.
It looked.
Yeah.
It looked quite okay.
It came on 4
But
whole
didn't you have a
DVD discs on
boomerang
the
in it?
360.
I heard there was a boomerang.
Games with boomerangs are usually better than games without boomerangs.
This is statistical evidence
Yeah.
suggesting this is the case.
It looked a lot like what Mad Max went on to be.
Yeah. Didn't that Mad Max game essentially do Rage already?
I think
Just
so,
without
yeah,
a boomerang.
but bigger. And maybe better.
No, but it had a dog.
There was a boomerang in one of the Mad Max films.
Dogs are better than boomerangs. Boomerangs are cool in game, but dogs.
Boomerangs are
better.
kind of like dogs, though, aren't they? But,
Anyway,
Well,
you have to
not
feed a dog.
A dog with a stick is equal to a boomerang.
right?
Yeah.
So Rage 2.
Yeah. So Rage 2's coming.
I wonder how big the textures are going to be this time, though.
I genuinely don't know who's particularly excited about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's been it's not even been long enough that anyone is kind of nostalgically thinking back to the days when they were a lad
No.
or a lass playing the original Rage.
Oh, remember that time when Rage came out? No.
Because I was working in a game shop when that came out, and no one rushed to buy it.
No.
It was a sale. It was one of those games that just went lower and lower in sales, to the point where people bought it because it was so cheap it'd be rude not to. But I don't know who actually then played it.
I think it was.
No.
I
I
believe
think
it was a
I've
very.
owned it.
Yeah, no, I do have
Yeah.
a copy on 360. I probably have it in my Steam library because that's what my Steam library is like. It just grows exponentially. But
That's what they do.
I know it's on like multiple discs on 360, but that's as much as I know, because of the times where I had to put other games in and had to move it because of the alphabetical system I have in place. that's the closest I got to playing it.
Do you think the benefit for Bethesda is that everyone will go Rage 2, huh? And then they're more likely to be aware of it and think about it, talk about it?
I mean,
And-
maybe.
You know, like,
Anti-
why are they doing Rage 2? That's
mean-
weird.
I mean,
but we're
may-
still talking about it.
I wonder if they just wanted to make another FPS based on the tech they've got, and then looked at another license that they.
What have we got?
Yeah, 'cause
recently used.
Doom's done really well for them.
Exactly.
Wolfenstein, and without returning to Doom or Wolfenstein, where do they go?
Yeah, because it's a shame
and-
Prey is so good.
Is it really good? Because
Yeah.
I'm on the fence on buying because it's so cheap to buy now.
It's
and
one of those games everyone who's played it really raves about.
Was it
I'm
anything
still
like the first
upset
Prey?
that there. Yes, it's not even.
No,
it's-
nothing like. Nothing,
but that-
it's much
no.
closer to more like a Bioshock. in
But
many
that's
ways.
but that's my problem that they I never like it when they just rebrand a game
Yeah.
and then,
But then
it's essentially redact another game.
Are they liable to do this with Rage 2? Because they could, to be honest, they could just re-release Rage with nicer textures, and no one would know, because no one played Rage. They're still playing.
I mean, maybe a Rage remaster might make actual more sense.
Yeah. And that's, you'd almost imagine they might do that.
I mean, the Rage Twitter
probably end
account
up being-
responded in a fairly kind of like taking the piss, but also passive aggressive. They're obviously pissed off, and not if they have actually had something spoiled, then fair enough. Like, it's stuff as well.
But it's-
So they're doing something, and there's still someone active on the account.
But you just imagine if they did, if they held it back as their big reveal in the press conference, everyone was like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it would be like that bit in Guardians of the Galaxy where everyone goes, I'm Star-Lord, who? And that is just it with Rage 2. What?
We're probably going to get more Switch stuff because Bethesda seemed pretty keen on the Switch.
Rage remastered on Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else is getting Rage 2. You're getting a 360
Fallout
port.
4.
Maybe Dishonored. Dishonored could go to Switch.
Yeah, Dishonored's great. It's really good. Isn't it?
It's good.
Isn't it, everyone?
It is.
It's a little overlooked, I feel.
I think so.
But
But it was fabulous.
But Bethesda and some of the Sony first person, the places to go for just good old-fashioned single-player narrative games.
That was a big push for Bethesda, especially last year, wasn't it? I think they even did a big kind of trailer thing about like pushing for like single player games as well. And I respect that, but I don't know if they. I often see them reduced in price quite quickly, and without I can't
You
remember
get a lot more
sales numbers for
trade-in,
them.
don't you, straight away?
This is the thing, because you've got that, which I love the idea of it, but then you kind of look on the E3 floor map at the space Bethesda have alongside the space that Epic have, and all they have is Fortnite, which is like the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
And you just think, is it really... I mean, is it the case
I
that
think it's
they know what they're looking for and they budget for a certain expectation which they then meet, so it doesn't matter if the game's reduced quite quickly because they're still making enough money, and that might be a sensible way forward.
I think if they're spreading the money out across their publishing sort of arms as well. I mean, it's not like they're. I am flailing. I think they certainly have the money to do it, but it's whether they see it's worth the investment to do that as they keep going. Especially because obviously some like Prey obviously really don't sell very well.
No, it really did sink.
And if it's really good, that's a shame.
But I love the fact they've gone really local, and the newest Elder Scrolls Online is the Somerset aisle. And I grew up near Somerset, so I think
It's not the same.
It's going to be nice to see.
I grew
see
up
your
just
hometown.
outside Daggerfall.
is that whole bit where that whole mission around Taunton's going to be really good.
We're going scrumping.
That was the
Right there, my lover. Hello, traveller. Hello, Ingmar.
Before this degenerates into that,
Khajiit wants your apples.
that bit will be cut.
there's one more sort of major show, which is going to be Square Enix. Squeenix making having their first show for a few years.
Yeah,
So
Lara Dragon
that
Quest.
obviously means that they're quite happy with what they've
new
got.
luminous thing.
Luminous thing.
What's
So a
that?
big CG trailer for some engine they're making that we never see.
So
It's always good.
obviously this Final Fantasy VII remake, but is it too early for Final Fantasy 16? Maybe
Well,
not.
no, they've already said they're bringing out Final Fantasy 15 DLC and content next year, aren't they?
They are. That's coming next
So
year.
they're really kind of keeping that running as long as they can.
Yeah.
They just do a Game of the Year edition. For
I mean,
it,
well, no, they've got the Royal Edition.
Yeah.
Not just
now-
Game of the Year, but Royal.
So next
Yeah.
year we'll get the Royale.
right? Hence why I still not bought it. That and the Combat's wank.
The Royal with Cheese Edition.
Yeah.
No,
Square Enix
They could
Just
at least
Cause.
have left the Royal Edition to coincide with the Royal Wedding.
Was Square Enix Just
Somebody's
Cause?
missed the trick.
Yes, Just Cause 4
Yeah.
was on the
It was
on
on
the
the
leaks.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's,
If it doesn't have any kind of co-op, then they've fucked up and they should just stop making them.
The thing is, Just Cause 3 ran like a complete bag of arse.
Good.
So they're going to have to have seriously worked on it before.
It was,
and added in co-op.
anywhere near
It was,
Because if
it
it
was
doesn't have
early-ish in
Sucked.
the PS4, wasn't it?
No, it was an
No,
issue, it was an issue system-wide PC. PS4.
I
I think the
wonder if
PC was patched quite quickly.
So one of it's like, because we are now getting to the point where games seem to be able to run better.
I think
in that
PS4
kind of
version
golden
is
age
patched
of games,
now, but even then, it's not. It doesn't. None of them run as well as Just Cause 2 did on old hardware, and arguably just as good.
Just Cause 2 is probably... Like, 3 was that standard open world, let's just make the world bigger
Yeah.
and have more collectibles to go and find, but not really do
Most of the
anything
fun
different.
was just pissing about.
Just
in the
Cause
world.
2 is
Yeah.
incredible fun, and the online mod on PC is fucking amazing. It certainly was its height of popularity. Just having like 50 Ricos all on the same plane, like great. Just absolute chaos, like more chaos than they could have ever engineer in a single player game. It was brilliant, and it worked. And modders showed that multiplayer Just Cause was better, and then they released the next game and just didn't even accommodate any
Well,
of
that's
that.
the thing, 'cause
And
when you have Far
what you
Cry, Just Cause, Assassin's Creed, there's just so many of those kind of open world games that it needs to have something that makes it stand out.
do. Yeah.
And 50 iterations of the same central character in one small space could be the thing. Like Gary's mod, the Ubisoft
Exactly.
version.
That is
yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what it felt like, but in a kind of really fun, organic kind of online chaos way that online chaos kind of
Yeah,
engenders.
especially with
It's
Just Cause being so physics-based as well.
Yeah, it was. You tried to steal a vehicle on the online mod, and you were often thwarted by a plane crashing in front of you while another plane was crashing overhead, and people flying around everywhere. It's brilliant, and I mean, if anything deserves a battle royale kind of idea, it would be Just Cause, but not even a battle royale sense, but just having a lot of players pissing about.
Maybe that's what it'll
Really,
be,
yeah.
Just Cause 4.
Just
Maybe.
Cause 4,
I don't
pissing
think so.
about.
I think once again they'll go, oh no, oh no. That'll be it. It'll be great. Cool.
No, as
man.
we said,
Such a great
as we
promotion.
said, that is EA's speech.
Oh no! Oh,
God, yeah, it's Squeenix,
Dragon Quest 11, that'd be amazing. It'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be another JRPG that those who like it will love it, but will we have the time to play it? It's just the problem with real life now. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I don't
Dawn
know.
of the Shadow of the
It's
Rise
this-
of the Tomb Raider.
They're becoming
Is the full
so
title.
It
frequent
is.
now that I don't know if the hype can sustain it.
I just don't know if the series has lost its way again,
Yeah.
because the reboot was really good, and Rise of the Tomb Raider is a good game, but it does nothing exciting. There is nothing that you haven't seen in Uncharted or in Tomb Raider previously. So besides the pretty visuals, it just felt very, very tired to me. So
I was
I've got
always-
no excitement now for Shadow.
My big
And I
thing.
like Tomb Raider. I've always played it.
And they've already said that she doesn't get her dual pistols in this game. But that's what she kind of unearthed at the end of the reboot, right? Like, I will become the Tomb Raider at the end of this game, and I've got my dual pistols, but no.
Unfortunately, she lost
I
them
like
on
a
the
bow
way.
and stabbing people in the face with an axe.
How did the film do? Was that popular? Did anyone watch the film?
I didn't,
I've
because it
not seen the
looked
film.
absolutely shite.
Right,
Lucas
okay.
did.
Yeah, that's fair
I saw the advert by Lucas that was the whole film, pretty much.
Getting attacked by dogs,
Which looked a
getting
lot like the whole
Lucozade.
game originally.
Yeah.
but- I mean, the best thing about Rise Tomb Raider was I was amazed it ran on my slightly dodgy old PC with a 1 gig video card really well, and it was really well optimized. It was like the opposite of Just Cause in that way, and still looked really good. So if they haven't changed the engine, I'll be able to play it on that. So that's something. But I don't know. they keep on trying to redo Lara, but whilst almost keeping a distance from the things that made Lara so iconic, like the dual pistols.
And a big pair of boobs.
But you know what? Just being badass.
due some surgery.
I
of
appreciate
conical
adding
boobs.
character and actually trying to add some more character to her, but I think a huge part of her appeal in the old games, apart from the fact that there was a big focus on exploration rather than stabbing people in the face, and that kind of has now switched over, whereas stabbing people in the face is the focus and exploration is an afterthought. And even in the new game, they've announced that optional tombs are part of the DLC map that they announced, which means that the optional tombs are still in there, which means tombs are still optional, and that's not really a focus on exploration. That's
So
still...
Shadow of the optional tomb.
Exactly.
Raider.
Optional Tomb Raider, yeah. And I don't know if I can really get behind that. I'd prefer if they just did a... I don't know. I don't know if they need to focus much on our character rather than just making her, like, fucking badass. And really good at... And the platforming... you doing the platforming in the original Tomb Raiders made her character feel badass because you were doing all this ridiculous platforming in these tombs and places. And that kind of added to her character rather
No, it's
than
just that
making
Uncharted
a whine
automatic
or...
leap and all the rest of it.
This is, the platforming in a lot of the kind of, even like God of War, just looking up and holding circle, like rather
Because
than
it's
just
not a platformer, it's not a
it's
Valve.
not. But that automatic platforming is just not really rewarding at all.
Sometimes it's just time to let a character die, or a franchise die.
Oh yeah, I don't know if
I
they
don't know,
will.
I
but
think there's still space for Lara, but they just need to make sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
don't make her Rambo. Just make her pretty
An
badass.
archaeologist.
And raiding tombs. Even Lost Legacy kind of seemed to rip on that a little bit. Kind of you going into this lost tomb where the first people in here, and then there's crates from the villain. And you're like, oh no, villain has been here first. He's left some crates, dickhead.
Who left all these medikits lying around the place?
Well, that's always the thing with Uncharted, isn't it? Like, we were the first people to go in hundreds of years, but luckily they all built walls that were just waist high.
Oh, I love chest high walls,
But,
they left us some rifles here, which I've got. I can just refill up my ammo. That's great.
In this rust-free environment.
Thanks.
I think that maybe is the thing that the Uncharteds have done, that kind of polished, or platforming that sort of does itself, but is cinematic, and have done that to such a point that the Tomb Raiders.
But it's not really what I mean. Maybe it's what I want in Uncharted, but not what I want in Tomb Raider game. It's definitely not. And platforming should be the principal thing. I mean, I remember it's being stuck in the original Tomb Raider because of the platforming, because a route through was actually a huge puzzle, and that's how the levels worked. And I think putting that focus more on that side will win me back, but it's probably not what's going to sell.
But no, because then they would have to release as optional DLC
Optional shooting and stabbing people.
a special Lara mode where she can put on these glasses and all the bits you can jump on.
Yes,
are
so
specially
suddenly all
marked
yellow,
out.
like normal vision in Horizon. Yeah.
Which is the worst. That's the thing I didn't like about Horizon. Everything else I love the world, love the way
The climbing is
the
my
interaction,
least
but the climbing was
favourite
just
aspect
so
of that.
perfunctory. It was just-
Yellow stuff.
Yeah. Oh, someone's put some yellow gaffer tape on this again. Thanks.
It's kind of like the opposite of what we have on street furniture, where you have yellow things to alert you. And in here, it's like, yeah, you can climb one.
It's got burglar tape on that. Yes. But I think for me personally, I consider myself a Tomb Raider fan, but the reboots still aren't selling me. But for them to recapture me, it needs to be an emphasis on the other side of it, of the actual platform. Whether the new one does that, I don't know. But the fact that I already know that optional tombs are coming out as DLC means to me like no.
Because there's no reason you can't have the character forming and the platforming. But what they've done is add in so much gunplay and bow play and just stabbing people in the face that becomes the real focus. I mean, that's the whole thing with the reboot I really enjoyed, but it was so by the numbers third person, the music would change. You knew there was a fight coming up, and the bulk of the time would be spent on those fights. And
It was though, and even then, the platforming for the reboot, I think, is miles ahead of any of like the Uncharted games. But then that wasn't the focus, and if it became more of the focus and actual skill based, and even then, like you can look at a wall and go, oh, it's got a bit that I can put my pickaxe in. It's not. It makes it too easy, I think.
Yeah,
well,
I
you
think
almost want a Breath of the Wild Tomb Raider.
I think if Breath of the Wild's climbing system in everything would be fine with me. It maybe not as slow and methodical, but yes, that idea of just actually being able to climb anything and working out a route is to me.
Spider-Man will have that, I imagine.
Yeah. I know, I was just going to say, like that, the reboot of the Tomb Raider, I think the mistake they made was having her question her morals of killing that first person.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the game, she's a complete sociopath.
I mean, not
killing
even the end of the
everybody.
game. It's like 2 minutes after killing, having that moral
I just
dilemma.
think with any game, you can't.
them in the
As soon
eye.
as you highlight the moral issue of the fact that you are murdering thousands of people over the course of this game, it turns it into an issue.
Well,
Just to ignore it and just go, that's fine.
Evil baddies are a bit like Pringles. Yeah, what did she pop?
You just can't stop.
Just
wanna
like
murder them.
Smack and Pringles. Two best things in life.
Says you.
Yeah.
Pringles aren't all that.
I know. Smack isn't either. But yeah, I don't know.
That escalated very quickly.
I just like not an escalation of the kind of killing people in the face, but it's not. And I think even my least favourite original Tomb Raider games are like 2 and 3, where you have more people to just shoot. But even then, like, it was just dive around a little bit, shoot them, they're dead, and then carry on exploring. It wasn't ever really the kind of focus, and yeah, I don't know.
So we have mixed feelings about Tomb Raider.
And probably mixed feelings about E3 overall.
Yes,
It's always
and
mixed.
confused feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like life.
So we've probably rambled for long enough now.
I think so.
It's going to be E3 in a couple of weeks, where we will be proven
Is that on
probably
my notes?
Mostly wrong.
horribly wrong.
Can't even remember what I said now.
Check back here for things that are wrong.
Yeah. So good luck. Good luck
To
to
us.
us.
Yeah. If you're staying up, probably focus on the Pringles and not the Smack.
Yeah, Smack. It's not going to get you through E3.
I don't think so.
It's going to see you burn out
It's overrated.
too quickly.
Although Electronic Arts might be.
Join us again next month for more deep-seated insight
Yeah.
and
We'll look
more
back in
uses,
hindsight.
and more uses of the word thundercunt.
It's my top 10 favourite.
Bye.
Bye.
Sounds